Billet of Doom, Part 2. Alright guys, you ready for all this fun? So today, we're taking that first section that I started drawing out. We're actually going to work it some more. Hopefully, get it all drawn out to the point that we can actually, twist it, then cut it in half for 3/4 of the way through. Fold it over on itself, forge weld it again, and we'll see how much metal that yields us, because I'm thinking that's going to be enough to give me all 3 knives, and I'll have a real low layer count, but it'll be a bold pattern that I can manipulate and be very visible. So that's kind of awesome, I think, anyways, but I'm a little biased anyway. And yes, I have my radio going in the background, so thankfully I finally have some music to listen to in the shop. Why? Why is it always my left side? Hey guys, so I figured I'd stop heating and beating for just a second, maybe take lunch, but show you. Blacksmiths are the only guys that can change the cross section of a piece of metal. So we started out with blocks like this, and we're turning it into this. It's still hot. I'm not going to touch it like a dummy. It's already touched me once today, hot, so I'm done with that. But the thing about changing the cross section is that mass has got to go somewhere. So in this case, it lengthens. And as you can see there, where did the tongs get to? Let's pick this piece up here. So right now it's about 12 inches long. Right there in the center average piece, there's about maybe 3/4 inch square, tapering down to 1/2 inch. The idea is to get it the whole length about a 1/2 inch, maybe closer to 5/8. But that 5/8, or the width and size of a railroad spike, because there's plenty of material there to make knives out of that. But to do that, what we'll do is we'll twist it up, cut it 3/4 of the way through, about halfway up the bar, and then fold it over on itself, forge weld it into a single billet. And I might take a test etch at that point and see what the pattern really looks like. Because from there I'm thinking I might just make it out into flat bar to make the knives out of. But we'll see. Anyway, lunch break. Alright, so guys, here on lunch break, which doesn't mean a whole lot to me. I eat barely enough to keep an anorexic bird alive sometimes, and then enough to eat a whole freaking hippopotamus. But so I had a handle that was wonky and come undone. I also had a broken old heirloom hatchet that kind of had a broadaxe on it, but anyways, the handle was not good. I took what I could of the handle and I made a new hammer handle out of it because the eye was a little bit big for a standard handle. And I like it so far. We'll try it out a little bit here later, and we'll actually see what I need to keep doing. But yeah, it's kind of fun, you know, being able to shape your own handles, customize them, make them fit. I really like the sleek, thin little hammer with a nice heavy head. I think that's about a 2.5, maybe 3 pound hammer. This is the one I've been using. It's a little bit bigger, you know, side by side there. Not much bigger, not a whole lot bigger, but it does have a little bit more mass to it. And then it's also got a shorter hammer now, handle now, so it feels heavy. But it wants to beat some metal, so we're gonna beat some metal here shortly with it. Man, you go into the shop in the morning and heck, it's nice and clear out here and maybe a few flurries, but then you come out, get some more metal, and shoot, bud. I mean, you can't see the mountain across the way from us. It's snowing like blue blazes. I mean, it's even starting to stick out here by the metal heap. So, things is crazy, boss. Crazy. Alright guys, some of the stuff you missed because I got to doing it and just totally forgot, plumb lost my mind. Let's see, is it still hot? It's warm. A little bit warm, pardon me. So, that whole piece stretched out to almost 3 feet, about this size, which is 1/2 inch square. I took and I twisted it up, then flattened it back out. All 4 corners, or all 4 sides, I flattened back out. This piece, I went ahead and cut off. I'm probably going to do the paring knife out of this one, because it's going to have a small blade. It needs a real bold pattern on it. And then I took the rest of it, cut 3/4 of the way through the thickness of it, used it like a hinge and folded it back over on itself. And I am currently forge welding that up, and when I get done with the weld series on it, we're probably going to call it good for the day. I'll polish it up a little bit and take a little cheater look, see how the pattern's developing, and see if it's something I want to keep going with or if it's good enough to make the knives out of. I have 3 knives that I'm making out of this: a chef knife, a boning knife, and this little paring knife. And I want to do it all with similar patterned Damascus. So we'll see. Because right now, on the other 2 knives, it's going to be a chevron. On the other 2 knives, it's going to be a chevron almost with twists, and it'll be a really cool pattern if it works out right. So I'm kind of excited to take a look and see what the pattern really looks like. I'm nervous as I'll get out about it though. If it's bad, I don't know if I got the heart to just stop and restart. I've got 2 other blocks that I can restart with. It's got the first layering down, which is just 10 lines. Well, it's actually going to be 5 lines because for every other line, it's 2 pieces of 15 and 20. So it's a dark layer, a thick silver layer, a dark layer, a thick silver layer, and carried on for 5 layers like that, 5 of each. So right now it's just all straight. So if this doesn't work out, I'm going to have to start over and do another batch with one of the other blocks.
Now, that said, I'll still recoup some loss out of this stuff if it doesn't wind up looking the way I really want it to. I'll do somebody else's knives out of it, but or some generic knives and sell them that way. But it'd be kind of cool. This has been a very intensive learning process for me, and I'm excited for it. So it'd be nice to have them done though. If you know what I mean. If you've ever had a project that seems to just drag on, you know exactly what I mean. So that said, let me come over here and finish up this welding series on this stuff, and then we'll hit the grinder, grind off the scale, maybe take it over to the sander for a little bit, or throw a sanding disc on the angle grinder. Nothing super highfalutin. I don't need it to show me the exact pattern, but a hint of what's to come. Anyways, here we go. Okay, we're gonna stop, we're gonna brush it, and then apply some flux. You're not gonna see me add the flux because it's out of shot, but I'll come and let it do its little dance for you and let you see that a little bit. So, what is flux? Flux is that white powder that is starting to melt and turn into a primitive glass. What do I use for a flux? For a flux, I use borax. Specifically the brand 20 Mule Team borax. It's available in the laundry aisle at every grocery store. Walmart, Kroger, Food Lion, all of them. I imagine Aldi's might have some too. I've never been to an Aldi's because we don't have one close enough in the area, although we are getting ready to have one built here within about a half hour from the house. So yes, I live out in the middle of nowhere. But that's what borax does. It coats it and creates a primitive glass layer that keeps the oxygen from getting to it in the fire. It makes it much, much easier for the weld to stick, in us country bumpkin terms. So, for forge welding, it does put off IR radiations very similar to welding with a machine. Darkened glasses, these are not, okay, so polarized sunglasses will allow you to filter out enough of it to keep you from really having like flash burns on your eyes and stuff like you would get with a machine weld by looking at the arc. But it's not so dark that you can't see what you're doing. So get a good set of, welding goggles with a lighter lens in it. Like, I don't know if they make them less than 10, but like an 8, maybe a 6 would work. So at that point, I think you're basically talking some polarized glasses. So go to the fishing section of Walmart and get you a good pair. And yeah, hearing protection because of the anvil. So that right there was the completion of the first welding series. It was 3 different heats, but now I'm going to take and spread a little bit more borax down
and just take another pass over it just to ensure that those welds have taken. So we made our welding pass, and it wasn't too terribly serious, just in case I wind up scrapping this. But then polished it up, or ground off all the scale, kind of sort of polished it a little bit. And now we're gonna go take a, I guess it's called a vanity etch, but a preliminary etch, just to see if it's going about the way I think it's gonna go and want it to go. Anyways, wish us luck, and I'll show you all the results. Bye. Looky, just about 5 minutes in the acid, and it'll etch deeper and darker once I get it, and it'll pop a lot more once I harden this blade. Flip. There, you can kind of sort of see the pattern coming and popping right through there. So yeah, so back here you see the straight-ish lines. That's what the original pattern would have looked like. And then I twisted it, and you can see the goodness that is that. And it will distort as I make the blades and whatnot, but that's pretty cool. I'm excited.